If you're a founder thinking about hiring a marketing agency, then here are 5 questions that will save you 12 months and probably thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. Look, I've spent 19 years on the other side of that conversation, and these are the questions that agencies hope you don't ask them. I'm going to give you a 5-question framework, 5 red flags to watch for, 3 green flags that mean you probably found a good agency, and the one final question that exposes the difference between an agency selling activity and an agency selling outcomes. No fluff. By the end of this, you will know in 15 minutes what most founders take 6 months to learn the hard way. Why most agency hires go wrong. So founders evaluate on the pitch. The pitch is the agency's best word. That is not the right way to make a decision about who to work with. You need to be buying in to what's going to get delivered month 4, month 5, month 6, not what's pitched to you in week 1. So here's the 5 questions that help you to reframe that evaluation and make it more around delivery and less around sales theatre. Question 1. So what happens if your work isn't producing leads by month 3? So here you're trying to understand an agency's approach. Are they just trying to get a sale from you, or are they genuinely able to produce a plan that's going to look at performance and improvements over time? So a good answer might be something around, well, these are the things that we measure from day 1. This is what we would expect to see 30 days in, or 60 days in, or 90 days in. If they can't give you that kind of level of detail, then they're probably more interested in the churn and less interested in actually delivering you the results that you deserve. Question 2. Show me a client that looks like us. Give me an example of a business a bit like ours that you've worked with and walk me through the first 3 months. This helps to filter out generalists. If they can't show a specific client that's very close to what you do or in your industry, then you should walk away and work with somebody that can. So a good answer might be, here's a specific client we've worked with. They may or may not be able to name them based on whether they have an NDA in place, but they should be able to at least talk about the industry they're in, the types of customers they had, the challenges they had, and what they did to get that performance to help that business achieve their goals online. Bad answer would be a really generic case study that could just apply to anyone. You see these charts online on social media of graphs literally going like this. Could mean anything, right? You want to see actual real results. You want to understand the thinking behind their approach to the work that they do and how that relates to the results that they deliver for their clients. Question 3. So who actually does the work? Tell me about the team. This is a really interesting question because in a lot of agencies, a lot of bigger agencies especially, what tends to happen is when you're in a sales pitch situation, you'll get access to senior team members, people that are experts in their field. And then often when you start working with them, you'll end up working with someone a little bit less experienced. So it's really important to understand who you're going to be working with, what their expertise are. Even better if they can name those experience and also, who your point of contact is, those kinds of things. To really get an understanding of what the team looks like, who you're going to be working with day to day, and what kind of level of experience and expertise that those team members have. Question 4. So a really, really important one at the moment, everyone's talking about AI, is I would be asking, what is your view on AI visibility and B2B search? How are those two things connected? And what are you doing in your agency to ensure that, if I give you my business, you're going to help me become visible in all of the LLMs and also AI overviews. So this will give you a good understanding of how good their knowledge is on AI visibility. And it's really important right now that if you're going to work with an agency, that they at least have a really good, solid understanding of it. Even if it's something they say they can't do for you. I mean, I would be, if I'm working with a search agency now, I would be expecting that they can do this work as well. So a good answer there, something specifically related to your industry. They might even give you an example of working with a similar client and the results that they might have got for them. A bad answer would be something really generic, something that sounds like they typed the question into ChatGPT and got a result coming out. And then lastly, question 5. What's the one thing that you think is wrong with our marketing already? Now, if they've got a good process in place, they may well have done this with you anyway. We would always do that with our clients, is talk through the areas, the weak areas that we see. So if somebody says, oh, I think everything you're doing right now is wonderful. Well, first off, I'd wonder why they would say that, because why come to you in the first place? A good answer would be something like there might be 2 or 3 specific observations that they make, things that they could genuinely see that would improve what you're currently doing, things that you could probably go away and implement if you wanted to. 5 red flags. So these are the things that if you hear an agency say to you, I would turn around and run in the opposite direction. So number 1 is they promise you results in 30 days. No one can guarantee results. Nobody. No one controls Google. No one controls the LLMs. It's just not possible. Number 2 is they treat marketing as a cost, not an investment. So when you're working with an agency, you want to be working towards your goals. You want to be working towards it actually generating business for you. Otherwise, what's the point? You might end up with something that looks pretty, but if it's not bringing leads in, well, then it really is a cost to the business. And what you really want is to work with an agency that is looking at this as you investing in something that you are going to get a return on. The third one is they won't show you what a bad fit looks like. So if you talk to an agency and they just take anybody on, they'll just work with anybody in any industry, any type of business model, I would be really, really quite suspicious about that. And I would probably walk away. The next one, they don't ask you about your business. How can they possibly know what you need unless they understand your business, how it works, what your challenges are, what your goals are, what marketing you're currently doing now, all these kinds of things which should be very much question-based in the initial stages of any kind of sales conversation with an agency. And if they're not asking you those questions and they don't understand your business properly, then I would literally run in the other direction. And then the last one is if they pitch before they know you. I as an agency, often get requests to pitch. And I'm like, I'm not going to pitch for this because I don't know anything about your business yet. So if they're just saying, you get an email inquiry and then they're following up with a proposal straight away, then I would be very suspicious about that as well. I would literally be turning around, yes, again, going in the opposite direction. So they're the 5 red flags. What about the green flags? So these are the 3 green flags that I think show that an agency is a good, reputable agency who is going to do their very best for you. The first one is that they ask lots of questions, and they'll probably ask you more questions than they will tell you about themselves. Often we have conversations with new prospects and we kind of get to the end and then they're like, can you tell us a little bit about you? Because you're so involved in finding out about the business that you kind of forget that they probably want to know a bit about how you work too. So an agency that asks lots of questions, I think, is a really good thing. The second one is they'll actually push back if you say something that they don't disagree with. If they're saying yes and agreeing to everything you say, then I would be questioning, well, what do I need your expertise for? It seems like I know just as much about marketing as you do. So how are you going to help me? And then the third one is that they walk away if they don't think you're the right fit. And as painful as it can be, turning away work, not every business is right for every business. And an agency should be able to tell you what customers are a good fit for them and which ones aren't. And if you don't fit into that profile for them, if they think that actually they can't help you probably as much as you need, or they can't give you the right level of support, then they'll walk away. And that shows me that they're a really good, reputable, honest and trustworthy agency. And they're the kinds of people you want to be working with. And so the last question I would be asking is, so there's one last question you might want to ask, which kind of fits into what we were just talking about whether you're the right fit for that agency and vice versa. So I would be asking the agency that, if they didn't take you on, if they didn't think you were a right fit, would you tell me why? Why wouldn't you think that would work very well? And I think that helps you. And it's not necessarily about understanding who they like to work with and who they don't, but it actually gives you an insight into their thought process and the way that they work, and a little bit more, insight into their values and the way they run the business, because it separates the outcome-led from the sales-led. You'll get some clarity around whether they're just trying to get the business or whether they actually do think they can do a good job. So just to recap, 5 questions to ask an agency to see if they're a good agency to work with. I hope that helped you. So if it did, then I'd love for you to subscribe. We're a really young channel. We don't have a lot of followers yet, and we're trying to build it up and help as many small businesses as possible to understand a little bit more about digital marketing, AI visibility, how SEO works, what's changing for B2B businesses in terms of marketing strategy, all that kind of lovely stuff. And I'd love it if you could subscribe. The next video is going to be on AI visibility and what you need to be doing this year to make sure that you're as visible as possible when people are going to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, all the LLMs, and also the AI overviews that appear in Google too. It's a really valuable video, so I'd love you to subscribe so that you can catch that one when we release that in a week or so.